Where do they go, the mumblers, the pacers? Like an exile, no one sees them, but they are here. Held outside of society in the cold and the wet. A constant refugee, social pariah. Disaster blankets drag along. The unspoken, the dismissed, they call you crazy. The world can't hear you, can't see you, they choose not to. Mumblers, pacers, keep your hatred close. No one can take your hatred from you. As social order falls into collapse, your economy's gone. Violence begets violence. First, you demonize the other, scapegoating, diminution in pay, being reduced to a beggar, duress, threats, how to escape the economic violence. Your living standards digress, slipshod, the troubled that scream with Tourette's. The forgotten parking lot sweepers, old man by the Safeway, chest exposed, died in the snow years ago. Murdered for loitering, the old man that went on runs for you when you were a child. Staggeredly, where did he go? Sterno antifreeze. I say bring back the wino. The grumblers that hate you, the pacers that avoid you. Better to be kind, you never know what someone's been through. Loading docks lined up with mummy bags, corpses snore under the drip line. Disabled, abandoned wheelchair. A Native American with one leg. He left it in Vietnam. A corpse on concrete can sleep for weeks without notice around here. A riot horse laughs while the cop on its back will harass. It's easier for the police just to kill. Clean and safe police state sit lie is a lie. If America's not racist or fascist, it's really, really close. The kids are nodding out on Burnside, spelled with a C. Soul Town, New Chinatown. No more leaning water towers around here. But the pacers still shuffle around. A shuffler fights with his spirits in Cantonese. It's state-sanctioned gentrification. And it doesn't ever seem to work. The Shanghai tunnels run too deep. U.S. out of Old Town, U.S. out of everywhere. Chaotic like gunfights or lovers in a war zone. From time to time, the surface lots break away. A sinkhole exposes the old tiled brickwork of long forgotten subterranean dens. Your name and X. You wake up way out at sea. Pinball beer wars, forgotten gambling spots. Now train hoppers sell zines by Voodoo Donuts. Portland historic is still human trafficking. A meth face spits blood from lost teeth by the dental van. Sweet tooth for a plastic bottle of booze. Shatterproof. It's so cold the people commit self-immolation in front of the fur stores here. The police put them out with mace. I guess it was the wrong red canister, wasn't it? A girl on a cell phone is so drunk she tries to open the door of a Cheers van. Luckily, her radio cab van pulls up just then. Central City Concern, Cheers van, Guardian Angels, helpful vigilante groups you should never trust. Flak Jacket Saturday night. Tough guys shoot steroids and riot on 3rd Street for nothing. They get drunk at Dirty and do stupid things. During a recent cold snap, a bar hopper that's way too drunk has his shirt off, gets thrown out by macho bouncers dressed in urban camo with assault helmets. He falls drunk with no shirt on, face down, dead in the Skidmore fountain. And the nice cars here are riddled with bullets while the bands play on. Old Town. Cute schoolgirls are exchange students from France. They get shot too. executed by an angry young man. Executed in front of the dance club Quest. They came all that way to die in Old Town, to die young in Old Town. The signs change, but the streets stay the same. Made in Oregon, killed in Portland. The buildings shake with a constant mini tremors from TriMet buses driven by Tri-Metropolitan drivers allowed to kill a swath of pedestrians at will. 1, 2, 3 more people I've seen killed. Like a skull, she looks down, face illuminated from below, dead light lumens from her iPhone. Deep scars up her nose, dark bags under her eyes. She is sad, beautiful, distracted, bored to death text. The rain-soaked streets play music here. When the cars go by on ink-black roads, it sounds like a needle on old vinyl. Leroy Vinegar plays stand-up bass at Jazz to Opus. Doug Hanning plays piano upright at Tugboat Alley. The first storms of winter pour over the West Hills. The winds pass the Fremont Narrows before they hit the bluffs. Trying to sleep in this cold is a trip. I ride the Metro Yellow Line to keep warm in winter. Living on rooftops, living in the slipstream, you can really feel the cold in winter here. Wet rain, cold, dark. The winter here makes me see ghosts. Sitting at Union Station, I thought you had died, overdosed. But it's someone else that looks the way that you did when you were alive. Seeing ghosts. People come and people go like passings of seasons, like lovers in a war zone. Down the bluffs, in the wind and the rain, across the Albina rail yards, I've slept down here for years. Watch for the pinch point 2 ghost cars go by, tossed by a rail hog miles away. A lonely horn from a tug pushing gravel barges cries romantic, ratchet clack. The hiss of brakes, blinking eddy goes by on the last car. The long drone of engines. A gust ripples the surface of prehistoric puddles. The city fills those old potholes down by the tracks with people's belongings. Their blankets, their jackets, and clothes. As if it's not hard enough to survive out here, the city puts up iron bars under the passes. Spikes on billboards to impale rock doves. Electric fences for little dogs. Phytoshock. Casual fascists. The Fremont Bridge is the tallest suicide in town. The Fremont Narrows presses the wind. There are whitecaps on the river Styx tonight. I've slept here for years. Remember when I made you stack stones on Old Rail Yard Beach? You were overdosed on acid and speed. Your monoliths still stand here. They stand as an homage to Doomtown. I told you if you stayed in Doomtown, you would die. The shadows would swallow your soul. And I haven't seen you since. In winter, the river fills with a lugubrious silt. Like a disaster victim's bloated arm, I cried out for you. The moon looked like a skull that night. You stacked rocks, I made you run it off. A deluge of rain swells the river. Kennewick man has slept here for years, under the old rail yard beach. Like bogmen murdered centuries ago, they sleep in sodden crypts under tufts of grass like mausolettes. North River Street, with the clamor of steel. A girl with coins in her eyes pays her toll. As Charon stands bladed, his silent skull under a black watch cap looks at cold boils of water pushing trash, detritus, old logs in winter waters. His scythe a Glock, metal bracelets, zip ties strapped tight to his sacroiliac. She is taken by him across to the island of death. As a police boat moves slowly, she is kept safe on its bow under a yellow plastic blanket. She is taken back upstream against the current with the inland tide. She is taken past the heavy stone blocks that hold up the Broadway bridge. She is taken back by the farrier, past the place from which she had leapt. I walk past this haunted place, up the east side steps on a rainy night. A corpse is floundering in front of me. As I step over her onto the Broadway, her spirit is gone, but her life force struggles to keep her alive. An angel springs forth. Oh my God, oh my God. I notice. It's that old black dude beat cop. I've seen him before. He grew up in the War of Detroit. His little niece got burned up in the trunk of a car, probably a Cadillac. She ran with the wrong crew, her homicide unsolved. He watched as a mark that wouldn't pay up got tied up to a chair. To stop the beatings, the mark jumped through a third-floor window still tied to that chair. So he joined the military, fought his way out, fistfights all the way, traded one war zone for another. Now he's here in Portland as an angel. And I saw him years ago, just as I see him now. It was the hollow days. It was early morning on Thanksgiving Day. I try to cross the river Styx. I go across the Burnside Bridge, spelled with a C. The air is cold as the still fog lifts. There is a heavy mist. A man is standing on the rail. He is a statue contemplating death. He makes me think that his family must be far away this year. That same beat cop pleads with him. The man on the rail is a silhouette. I look hard into his face, and he looks hard down into that dark, dark place, the river Styx. It looks cold and still, and all I can do is walk away. So again, he's there. That old beat cop is there to try to keep this one alive. She flounders on the Broadway, and it's like I don't exist, like I'm there merely to count the dead. And all I can do is walk away. And the rain is cold. I walk along the Broadway bridge towards the Lovejoy columns. I pass the man with no nose, just an open skull. Syphilis, probably. The columns are gone as I walk by James and 13th. James was kicked to death here by police. Steel toe kneecap, shock blue rubber germs gloves. Blue Hour, posh restaurant, just another haunted place for me. I see a working class man. He glares at me. His rig is all the way in. I'll bet he's shooting speed. I guess this stairway is closed. I'll go the other way back to Old Town. I get back to 3rd Street. A girl with mess scars on her sunken face is lying there still, her mouth open, eyes under dead slits, staring at nothing. The macabre light illuminates the flies that swarm above her death rattle. Like the flies, a few passers-by gather. This will be her only wake. So how many pigeons with darts in their chests will I have to see? Swollen feet behind her shopping cart, beehive bird's nest, lipstick all over their face. A guy painted all blue talks to men in all blue. Steel bridge junkie lovers hang themselves with a single noose. This winter of discontent, vans packed with explosives at Pioneer Square for Christmas. Lewis and Clark gentrify so we can all live under the shadow of the steel bridge. And a milquetoast child is burned alive by his friends after a punk show at the O. Remember the old X-Ray Cafe? Lord of the Flies down at Burnside. Coroner, coroner, is he dead? A woman that is street asks. I look down off the overpass. 2 smashed feet, shoes knocked off from the impact. He must have dropped something onto the long, blind curve of the freeway. Death up by the Tiffany Center. An old lady stumbles up. Blood streams from her smacked up arms. Later, I see her nodding in an old pile of fiberglass by the elevator shaft. She uses little bits of the fiberglass to set dope into rigs. I can smell the sweet pungence of Afghani morphine being cooked down in the bottom of a 4 Loco can. Never forget, the itch of dope is stronger than the itch of fiberglass. Under the Burnside Bridge, drunk punks stomp obnoxious. A mummy bag tells the punks to shut up. Punks punch down, and the drunk punks get their wrist cut with a paring knife. Don't sit there, kids. Those are brains from a Smart Park jumper. Guys in suits do swan dives out of top floor hotel windows. Passers-by cry and say, his head sounded like a melon being crushed when it hit the concrete. I look up at a little hole in the hotel window way up high. People come and people go like passings of seasons, like lovers in a war zone. I look at the flash of his eye, always trying to avoid eye contact. He is a murderer. He is murder capable. A second later, it's all cops, flashing lights, a body twitches back by the fence, back and forth. Right there where the steel bridge comes down in onto 3rd. Where it says crack press. A body shaking from being stabbed by the man with fire in his eye. The shadows here can swallow you up. What were the last words that you said? And it's another flak jacket Saturday night in Old Town. A murder of crows, an unkindness of ravens. The walls down here are filled with bones. To live and die underneath the shadow of the steel bridge. The convention center points look like giant heroin needles to me. Skeleton dome on the skyline like in Hiroshima. In this winter garden, share your old crow with no one. You have your blood, so you will never be alone. And this was Japantown before they put the people of this place into concentration. Now it's Sold Town. Simulacra. It's real, fake, fake, real, new Chinatown, Pearl East. But it won't work. The Shanghai tunnels here run too deep. Old Town is chaotic like a speed freak. Too many phantom owners of these properties to stop the greed. The howling banshees, the black cats, the wolves of the PDC. They knock down your door, then use the Knights of Columbus, grocery store, white power, prison mafia to knock down the old bricks. Portland Destruction Company. Like the unmarked mass graves of the Portland indentured servants at the Pioneer Cemetery, the Shanghai tunnels in Old Town run too deep. Tong Mafia had a one-way gunfight. Shoots down the guy that used to own Cisco and Ponchos, and now it's called ground control. 80s video games and cheap beer. And the punk club's gone too. Satyricon ran from 83 to 10. And people shot caps out front of there too. It's anti-world. Long live another state of mind. Long will live the Old Town crones. Long will live Sisters of the Road. Banana Joe's, Barracuda, there goes the fucking neighborhood. Old Town art punks, I don't live. Mexican mafia used to run these streets. Now it's rockers, strippers, and high-end alcohol. Chang's Mongolian Grill turns into Dante's. People think it's okay to do coke and sell MDMA to the kids at the tube. Ecstasy puts holes in your stupid brains. I say bring back the wino. It's okay. This is still Skid Row. 3rd and Burnside spelled with a C. The original dark, dark place. Coffee shop class divide. Rich kids do coca. Poor kids do dopa. It's a real Holocene. Stand outside, check the trash for cans, ground score from rich kids with pockets that overflow with little bags of weed and little pills. The arrogance of youth. Fashion wizards. Spiritual hipsters. Santeria is for recovering Catholics. Warships covens of Aleister Crowley. Militant Buddhists get their art school coca hydrochloride delivered by headless corpses killed by the mafias in Mexico. Cocaine, crank, cheap weed, ecstasy, lives melted with caustic acid in pits. What's up, big man? What you need? Chiva coca? That's what the Mexican mafia used to call it around here. But they're gone, not around now. That tall vato in all white with white chains, white bandana low over his eyes, roughing up his soldiers. Gangsters come and gangsters go. Willie's barber shop is still down here, though. Black power, white power, Nazi shoots an anti-Nazi, white-on-white violence under the white stag, Kelly's Olympian sign. The crew that runs the block on 6th and E used to hang out by the Burger King. They sell crack or smack, you all right, whatever you need. Heat the pipe, smash the glass, cook up with light bulbs from the old Paris Theater. Snake in the Vein, Little Beirut. A cop bar that used to be called Key Largo, used to be called Large Kilo, became Bar Ohm, became Whiskey Bar, and whiskey bars come and whiskey bars go. The clubs are under clouds that are battleship gray, and those clouds hang very, very low. A person in a yelling match with no one is definitely murder capable. She is a burned out 20-year-old. Don't touch her, she is sick. She can disassociate and suddenly she is with her father and she is 6. He was a sexually deviant American. It's 5 a.m. The dark shadows are thick. While the rich walk their gourmet dogs, the zombies are out to get their fix. Umbrella junkies got their scripts like autonomy on D-amphetamine. You're violence capable. A prescription for sociopathy. A tweaker's version of self-defense. There is a room for you at the Royal Palms. All the tweakers with speakers have the wrong riot. Late night bump. Kids doing Molly at the Psycho Pomp. Pukers in miniskirts while girlfriends hold back their hair. Thick neck victims get maced by cops. They do old town hurdles over hot pink vomit. Cops wear shock blue gloves. Joggers do old time hurdles over their own gourmet dog shit, and they jump over mummy bags to get down to the bloated river Styx. A cowboy junkie sings a tune over an old acoustic. I'm going down to the Esplanade, gonna get myself some heroin. Try to walk around with no laces in your shoes. Lost them on suicide watch. Lost laces in jails. Coffee shop wastoid, puppy punks with pit bulls. Spare change, the kitten on my shoulder has kitty HIV. FIV, FIV. In front of the coffee shops, the kids are nodding out with rig scars on their hands. Coffee shop class divide. Rich kids do coca, poor kids shoot dope. It's a real hollow scene. A mumbler drinks water under the neon Jesus at the Roxy. Outside on the streets, white trash street kids ogle up to rumble at Paranoid Park. They call it the family. A family dispute. The family is definitely murder capable. Stand outside, check the trash, ground score, rich kids' pockets that overflow with little bags of weed and little pills. Wait, those aren't drugs from a ground score. It's half a peanut wrapped tight in a piece of plastic. Wet phone books in a sandwich bag looks like a real eighth of weed. Coffee shop class divide. There's a reason they call this place Stumptown. They ran logs on skids down Skid Row from the West Hills. 3rd and Burnside, spelled with a C, the original Dark Place. 3rd and Burnside, the original old Skid Row. It's been like this here since 1860. This place will always change chaotic, like the passings of seasons, like lovers in a war zone. This place is Old Town, so it always stays the same. Always stays Skid Row. Always class divide. So I say, long live Old Town. I've slept down here for years.